Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads. I'm going to go Drew Forster. We're going to go through the 8 races on the Sunday, September the 7th program. Should be a lot of fun as it does, closes out the week, but it also begins another week, which is very important. The CTHS Sales Stake. Of course, the preview is on Monday, September the 8th at 3 o'clock, out at the Thunderbird Show Park. Followed up on Tuesday with the actual sale itself when they go up for auction at 2 o'clock. On Tuesday, September the 9th.
And speaking of the sale stakes, we had 4 last Monday on Labor Day. We went through the 2-year-olds on our Saturday show, and now on our Sunday show, we're going to go through the 3-year-olds. The first up is the girls. When it's the second race, and there they go. They have broken. Horse to keep an eye on here is your favorite.
Back to the start.
Yep.
We're back to the start. They outbroke you, but they're kind of, here goes Irish Lyric coming back in the gate here.
Who is your favorite? And
deserved to be the fave.
Yeah.
But,
good claim by Patty Leaney for Kay and Sue Ohashi. 2 straight wins, not to mention this one, in the sale stake. Yeah. And as you mentioned, the one, Elusive Lily, the Anita Bolton horse, the second favorite, broke very well and figured to be tough in here. But there was a fair bit of speed.
New distance and hadn't run in a while, though, Elusive Lily, and that was the Xenia's in between fillies, maiden tackling winners, but this little sharp again. Irish Lyric is out a little wide, and getting the box seat there is Hey Did You Notice.
Yeah, Hey Did You Notice ran very well in this race.
And the last horse is SL Express. 24 flat, pretty comfortable fractions, but Irish Lyric is always traveling very comfortably.
Yeah, she's just much the best. It doesn't really matter that she's 3 wide or that she's near the pace. None of this seems to bother her. She was the best filly in the race
at this distance,
especially.
Because she was the horse that was proven at going long, and even though she was losing a bit of ground, it's definitely comfortable.
Yeah. Elusive Lily still on the lead here. Xenia pushing her a little bit. 48, reasonable fractions, 24, 48.
Hey, did you notice is tapping on the brakes there under Keyshawn
she gets a little jammed up here. But Irish under Richard Hamill, speaking about Richard Hamill a lot on this day, he won 3 of the 4 of these races. And he gets up to Elusive Lily here. I thought, Hey, Did You Notice? It looked like the winner here.
Yeah, so did I. But she was coming out to win it.
But Hamill gets going, and Irish Lyric keeps going. Hey, Did You Notice comes tackling on the side. Elusive Lily fighting on pretty gallantly here for a filly that wasn't not really her distance. But Irish Lyric is the best
here,
and proves it. Hey, Did You Notice gets up for second.
Good race. Congratulations to, as you mentioned, Kay and Sue Ohashi. Big contributors to the game. They also buy horses at the sale, and they ended up claiming this one, but they bought lots at the horse sale in the past with trainer Patty Leaney and Richard Hamill. Obviously, another big afternoon for Richard. Next up was the boys.
And they won the 7th race on the Monday card.
That was a good betting race. This was a tough race. There was a lot of horses in with chances, and it was Goliath had a good chance, and
Aspen Getaway was your favorite.
Yeah, didn't know about the distance with him, but still, there's the beginning of the race, and a very nice break by It's Finally Friday. And here comes Aspen Getaway. Pretty much looks like, because Amadeo doesn't usually ride this aggressive.
Yeah.
It sounded like these were the instructions to just go get the lead. And if we're the best, we're the best. And we'll go on to the Derby. If we're not the best, then we may have to find easier company. But, he got tested 23-1, or almost 23-2 the opening quarter. And Aspen Getaway's out there fighting with It's Finally Friday. Majestic Mark settled back into 3rd, and Carson City Brown as well. Both typically show speed, but with the fractions being so fast, they were held back in reserve.
Yeah, the horses that make the noise that come up and run 1-2 in here are far back. That's Wonder World and Goliath. I really liked Wonder World in this race. 46.
And one.
No surprise that these 2 do come back, Aspen Getaway, and It's Finally Friday.
Here comes the gray. You just see your pick, Wonder World, making a little 3-wide move down the backstretch, and they're going to kind of glide up. Here comes Goliath from very last. Goliath is coming from last.
He's moving
just
very
past
well,
a tiring runner there, but
I really liked Wonder World here, and I think it would have been a little bit easier of
you're going to win for fun.
A win here, but he really blows his turn. Still a lightly raced horse, and Yeah, right here you can see he gets
Look
up
at a
beside
win
these
for
horses.
fun and like
then,
drifts out to the 20.
Yeah,
It's way out here.
Way out, and
And Goliath comes through. Like Hamill's
through.
almost going to try and win it here, coming in between horses with you can see
When
the
you watch
Swift
this photo,
thoroughbreds.
I thought
Color.
Goliath did win it.
But
Nice
Wonderworld
finish.
just got his beat down and
Got the bob.
And yeah, that was impressive. Those two were well clear. They went 145 and 3/5. But congratulations to Clive and Linda Lytle, Carl Austin, and Keyshawn Balgobin as they score with Wonderworld narrowly over the Swift thoroughbreds.
Wrecking Richard Hamill's grand slam.
Yes, I know. Almost got her done. All right, let's get on to the Sunday program. Let's kick off the 8 races with a field of 5 3-year-olds here in for a 12.5 claiming price. The obvious choice is the 5-horse and all that it means, and I'm going to land there. That's the horse for me. Kind of had the rail last time. They didn't choose to use him, and he kind of got bottled up in behind horses. And I just think he's going to get a better trip from the outside. He's your horse to beat. I like and all that it means. Put the 2-horse Burnaby Baron in for second. He did defeat a lot of these 2 starts back, and I think he deserves respect. And I put the 4-horse London, who's been there or thereabouts. Had a great season. 5 starts, 1 win, 3 second. Had a good campaign. Only start he missed the board was in his first this year. So I don't mind London at all. It might be a good pace scenario for him, so he could even win it. I went 5, 2, and 4. I left Brother Chunky off the ticket, and also Fleming's Beach, who's got a 2-race winning streak under Razan Choksi. But a good 5-horse field to kick it off.
I see it exactly the same way, Mike. I don't have a whole lot to add. As you mentioned, Brother Chunky was a horse I kind of looked at. Anita Bolton has 2 in the race. Amadeo Perez lands on and all that it means. That's good enough for me. Burnaby Baron, another hard knocking guy who can jump up and win these kind of races. He won for 12.5, went up to 16 against these horses. Only got beat a few lengths. He drops back down for 12.5. He's in the mix. And London, as you mentioned, a very useful little horse, the son of Napa by Rosberg, is as honest as they come. And as you mentioned, another one that wouldn't surprise. I got 5, 2, and 4 in the first. On to the second. Nice allowance race. 3-year-olds and up, going 6.5, optional 50. I've landed on El Capone, the 6-horse here. Been running very good. Just got beat a length and a quarter by Senior Rojo. Then got used up pretty good in the Classic and couldn't really run down Wilocat or go for Guinness. And then went down to Mile Day at Seattle, ran in the Consolation Mile, and made a nice move from off the pace to win by almost 3. Dino's 2 in here are obviously the tough ones with Modern and Stratify. But with the Gov in here and Modern and maybe Stratify, I just see a lot of speed, and I think El Capone can just sit behind them and under leading rider Amadeo Perez maybe pounce when the time is right and get the money for Rod and Ursula Boulevard. I got Modern in the second spot. Dino's here, they both look very tough with Modern and Stratify. Hamill's had success on Stratify before. Frank sticks with Modern. I got them in that order. I got 6, 1, and 4. I like all 3.
Yeah, I went to the 1 Modern. I think he gets an easy lead. I think Stratify sits an easy second, and I think the race is over. I think it's a 1-4 exactor. I don't see the Dino Condolineo's horses putting pressure on each other.
Yeah.
The Gov's more of a route speed horse, not than a sprint speed horse. And I just worry that El Capone, he's a bounce candidate, ran hard out of town, and just, got a good pace to run at that day, and just, I don't think he's going to get a pace to run at.
As you usually do in Seattle.
Yeah, he usually gets some rocking and rolling, but never underestimate Amadeo Perez, and it was great to see. I saw Rod and Ursula there on Mile Day, and they were just all smiles after their nice win. It was a good performance, but still, in this race, returning to 6.5 furlongs, short rest, I just thought maybe this horse is pretty vulnerable, so I'll try Modern to defeat Stratify, and I put a Hope Seeker in for third. I was impressed with his kind of getting he's rejuvenated a little bit and looked a lot better. He was good in the paddock, and he ran a good race, so maybe he's coming around because he is. He's a quality horse. He's supposed to be a quality horse. He was second in the Derby last year, and there's more there. But he hasn't shown it. That's the problem. But he did last time.
Finally did, yeah.
But I went 1, 4, and 3 in the Sunday second. On to the third race. Got some 12.5 claimers going a mile to 16th, older horses, and
This is a tough one. You can make a case for like every horse in here.
I ended up going to the 4-horse Deputies Command. I should have won last time, but very unfortunate. The pace scenario was so slow. I let Bear Rock and Roll right off it. I don't even, this horse had every shot to win, had to win last time and did. I just think there's going to be a whole different pace makeup, and it's definitely going to favor Deputies Command. So I'm going to try him to win it. Put Rebus in for second. I know Amadeo Perez takes off him to ride another one in here, but to ride Deputies Command. Pick, yeah. But I like Rebus. This horse is 2 races at a mile 16th. He's had to endure hot paces, contested, and he fights on valiantly all the way to the end. I know it's Street Map that beat him, and the one time, and he won last year.
He's been off for a while though, and he did come back and work just the other day, 59-1. So
he's a cool horse, and I know it's open 16 or open 12.5 as opposed to restricted 16, but I like this horse at this distance, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him run really, really well. And I put the 3-horse Hockley in for third. He almost got to Bear Rock and Roll, and perhaps might get the job done. Who knows? I just, I got nothing against Bear Rock and Roll. Love the horse. He's been a great, little ATM machine for Bob Leffler and Craig McPherson. He just continues to roll in the money. But he is a very fortunate horse. Seems like all the time. He gets good paces and nice trips. And but mind you, when you break well, you make your own good fortunes happen. Yeah. And he's been doing that. I just think with Rebus in the race, some sprinters stretching out like Michael's Glory, things are going to be a little more interesting on the head end, and it might make things a little more complicated for him. So I just think he might be a vulnerable, heavy favorite. So, but I do like Deputies Command. I think he sits last in circles, and I went 4, 6, and 5.
I did go to Bear Rock and Roll with 5-horse here. He's won 3 in a row. And if there is a pace scenario, he's got Hamill aboard, who's red hot. If there is a pace scenario, I don't think he really needs to lead, and he does break a little bit to the outside, 5 of 7 horses. So he's going to be able to sit, if they do start smoking in front of him, he could just sit behind and maybe swallow him up. I'm not going to go against him because he's on a roll right now. He's full of confidence. McPherson and Hamill are deadly together. So I got Bear Rock and Roll on top. I got Deputies Command in the second spot. I like the move to Amadeo Perez. Amadeo's great with late closing horses. I think he'll suit this horse well. Had quite a bit of success on this horse last year. Won a couple races on him, so he wouldn't be a surprise either. And Hockley, another one, just got beat in nose by Bear Rock.
He's honest.
Last time.
Yeah, honest horse.
He always shows up to play, and he's another one. But I left out Rebus. I left out Gamby.
Michael's Glory. It's a good race, but the ones that are in form, Bear Rock and Roll's in top form. So's Deputies Command. Those are your horses, I guess. 5, 4, and 3 for me.
Hockley. In the third, on the fourth, claiming 5,000 for girls, fillies and mares, going 6.5. Since it's tough to fall CA miss here. She was running higher. They dropped her in for 8. She wins. They run her back for 8. She wins. They drop her in for 5. She's going to be very tough to beat. Kind of a best bet scenario for me. I love CA Miss in the fourth. For our good friend Wayne Oliver, owner Wayne Oliver. Second spot, I put Victoria's Spirit, another one who's in good form, back-to-back wins for Amadeo Perez. He suits this filly very well, and I don't think she's as good as CA Miss, but I think she's the best of the rest. And Danny's Chant, I like seeing Hamill on her. She'll be part of the pace scenario, and she can take him a long way. She's an honest old mare, so I got her in the third spot. I got 7, 6, and 1.
Yeah, I have the same horses. I think you've got them nailed bang on. I think CA Miss is going to get a favorable pace scenario. She came from off it to win last time. I think she's going to do that again with Danny's Chant, beautiful strike. De Vilbis' speed at times too, and Victoria's Spirit is not going to get a 48-1 opening half again, so that's out. But it's still a horse that ran very well last time, and deserves to be the second pick in here. And I went with Danny's Chant for third. That'll be your pace horse, and might have to go a little too fast and might be vulnerable in the lane. But I still like this horse to hit the board. I agree with you, Drew. I went 7, 6, and 1 in the fourth race. On to the fifth. Got some $16,000 condition claimers going 6.5 furlongs, and I ended up on the 4-horse Peyton's Best, being reunited with Amadeo Perez for the first time this year. I'm hoping this horse can be held in reserve a bit. He's been asked to do a lot early in the race all season long, and he just can't seem to get the job done. I think there's other speed in here with the filly. Actually, there's 3 fillies in here. Catalia, I dig that, and the 6-horse I'm a Diva too. Both the 5 and 6 have good speed. So does the 8, Cowie Creek. Even Ambidextrous Duke, I'm sure, will be a little faster away from the latch, and Stole, it's quick. I just see a fast pace, and I'm hoping Amadeo lets the speed go, and Peyton's Best can fire like she has in the past, like last year, from off the pace, and it's proved to be a winning move. But either way, I like Peyton's Best quite a bit in this spot. This race come up a lot softer with Rebus opting out of it because of it being 6.5 furlongs, because Rebus was eligible for this race and ended up going because they wanted to run it long. Yeah. But I put the 2 horse After the Conflict in for second. This horse ran a good race last time, chasing Tracker, and I thought it held well. This is a lot easier assignment for After the Conflict. Richard Hamill re-rides for Patty Leaney. Of course, they had NK and Suahashi, a great win with Irish Lyric, as we witnessed earlier in the show. And I put the 7 horse Ambidextrous Duke, also dropping with all the class droppers, or at least the horses that have been running in, a little saltier competition. I think the 4, 2, and 7 are the horses in here. Ambidextrous Duke, I wouldn't be surprised to see this horse win either. But this is a tough betting race. There's really no standout in here. I would shop around in here, and if your voucher says that it's, you can afford to go all, I think it's probably not a bad move in this leg of any of your multi-leg wagers to stretch out in this leg.
You never get beat by the all button, as they say.
But I went 4, 2, 7.
I agree with Peyton's Best. A nice class drop, as you mentioned. 3 back, he just gets beat by a couple lengths by Go for Guinness. Then he runs in the class against Wilocat and Go for Guinness. Then last time he lines up against Tracker and Hope Seeker. And these are much tougher horses than the assignment he has in front of him today. Amadeo Perez takes over. I like that move a lot for Hall of Fame trainer Harold Barabee. The second spot I have After the Conflict. I agree with you on another one taking a drop out of that Tracker race. In the third spot, I went with I Dig That. I kind of a speedy filly, one of the fillies out of here, but a filly that has always looked like she has some talent. Jon Snow's going very well. I think Keyshawn will suit this filly well. They take the blinkers off, trying to get her to relax a little bit. And, she's 6-9 lifetime in the money, so she is one that, hangs around a long time and might be able to pick up a piece of it.
She's been freshened up a bit.
Yeah, she's been off since the 12th of July. Good works, 46 and 4, minute and 3/5. So she's fit, she's ready. John does well with these kind of horses. I just threw her in because of the rest that I was looking at, I liked her. So I got 4, 2, and 5 in a race that is a little bit muddled, as Mike mentioned. On to the 6, Fillies and Mares, 4,000, non-winners of 2, lifetime, going 6.5. And I have gone to the 4, Balancing Dancer out of the Robbie Anderson barn. Hard-working, kind of low percentage jockey in Freddie Manrique, but he can get the job done. And she ran second to C.A. Miss last time. C.A. Miss in this race would be...
And we picked her against a tougher...
heavily favored. So I don't mind Balancing Dancer at all. She has a nice stock and pounce kind of move. Robbie Anderson's putting together a tidy year for himself, and I like how he's sticking with Freddie. I'm sure Freddie's coming and doing some work for him in the barn, and he's given her this mare, and he's had some success on her, 2 seconds. Behind Hey Did You Notice and C.A. Miss, 2 solid fillies. So I like Balancing Dancer a lot in here. The second spot I went Diaz Sivan. As I mentioned earlier, I'm always fond of the Tracy McCarthy horses. Amadeo Perez sticks with her, off her maiden win. This is a logical move to the non-2 4,000, and she'll probably be bet down and is very live in here. Looked around for another horse. I landed on our good friend Ken Johnson's horse, 4 times lucky. Richard Hamill would have had some options in here. The last race that this filly ran was not a corker, but Hamill would have had options, and he sticks with her, so he thinks that there's more there. So I put her in the 3rd spot. I got 4, 6, 7.
Yeah, I agree with the 6 horse. I like the 6, Diaz Sivan. I just thought the blinkers off was the big key for this horse. This horse is way too sharp in her prior 2 starts. They took the blinkers off last time, rated off the pace, and the horse finished with a good run, defeating Miss Rose Parade, who ended up coming back and running another good second behind Be Remarkable. But Diaz Sivan, I think, will get a good pace to run out in here. It looks like there's some speed in the lineup, and as you mentioned, Amadeo sticks with her. I put the 4 horse. I agree with Balancing Dancer and Freddie Manrique for Robbie Anderson. This horse is live in this spot. The pace scenario did not help Balancing Dancer at all, and C.A. Miss was out there on the lead or near the lead, and it just hurt her chances of winning. It was only a 4 horse field, and she was last with a half mile or with a quarter mile to go. So, tactically she was at a disadvantage, but I think she'll get a better pace in here. And I put the 2 horse, Jag Time 2, and I don't mind this horse at all. Throw it in there for 3rd. I like the 6. No, I think the 6 is, for my money, quite a bit the best. Then the 4, and then it's a drop off to the 2, Jag Time 2, and maybe the 10, Be Remarkable or 4 times lucky after that. But I went 6, 4, and 2. In race number 6, on to the 7th race, got a maiden special weight here for 2-year-old colts and geldings going 6.5 furlongs. I ended up on the 7-horse Bluegrass Angus, the son of Bluegrass Cat. Good runner-up effort to the speedy Sedin. Well, Sedin actually came from off of it. Yeah. This was this kind of the speedy horse, but I like the comeback works, both of them in a minute and change. There is other speed in here with the 4 Park Avenue, the 5 Kissing Goodbye, the 8 goes way back. There is some pace in here, but I think Bluegrass Angus might be able to find his way to the front. Frank Fuentes had his choice of a few runners in here, and he ends up on Bluegrass Angus, and I don't blame him for that, for choosing that one. How about the 3-horse? The odds are good in for second. The mare, what are the odds, was a stakes winner at 2. Nice filly, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her throw off like a colt that can run. And this horse, judging by the morning workouts for Mel Snow and Conrad Rozenek, this horse is doing good things, and it's nice to see Amadeo Perez in the tack as well. So I got him in for second. And but the 1 horse, Captain Jones, I was kind of torn between the 1 Captain Jones and actually the 5 Kissing Goodbye ended up putting in for third. I went 7, 3, and 5, but Kissing Goodbye battled with Lord Rossberg, and that's why I ended up leaning to that one. Lost the war, but I mean, with Lord Rossberg, but still, a lot of people lost to Lord Rossberg the other day when he won the sales stake very easily.
There'll be more people that lose to Lord Rossberg as well.
I went 7, 3, and 5.
I agree with the 7, the Copperwater horse, son of Bluegrass Cat, whose 2-year-olds are always very good. Just got beat a length by Sedin, who could be one of the nicer 2-year-olds around, him and Jacuzzi Bob and Party Pooper. So Bluegrass Angus is the horse. As you mentioned, Frank had options in here, and he stuck with this horse. In the second spot, I went with the 10. I went way to the outside to Merlot. Dino is having a very good year and is a very sharp horseman. Started this horse out in a stake against Party Pooper and O'Derrick, and
ran green.
Yeah, ran green, and just, Dino isn't going to put this horse in the race. If he didn't think he had a shot, the horse was 3-1. And I think with a race under his belt, he gets Hamill. I like a lot of positives with Merlot, the well-named Merlot out of Napa. Clever. Swift always has great names. But yeah, he's on the outside, so Hamill's going to kind of, be able to pick his spot. It is 6.5, not 6 furlongs. He's going to be able to pick his spot, slide this colt in, and try and figure out a good trip for him, and I like Richard's chances of doing that. So I put Merlot in second. And the third spot, the odds are good. I almost said, what are the odds? What are the odds is the mare. As you mentioned, stakes winner here. Mel Snow always does very good with 2-year-olds as well, and attracts Amadeo Perez, so a lot of things to like about him too. I went 7, 10, and 3 in the 7th. On to the 8th, 3-year-olds and up, $4,000 horses going 1 mile and a 16th, non-winners of the year or non-4 lifetime. And I've gone to the 9, CC's Diamond. Brent Bremner has a small stable, actually. Well, it's a 1-horse stable, but Brent always does good with his horses. That is small. This horse just got beat 2 back by Super Steve and Talket's Charm, who are tough horses. Then he ran back against Hockley and Tamarack Smarty, who came back to 1, and Ganby. He's been running against very tough horses. This isn't an overly tough race, and I just think CC's Diamond has a shot in here. I looked around a lot, and I got a lot of marks on my form. I had a lot of different ideas here, but I ended up on CC's Diamond. I put Captain Salt in the second spot. He has 1 this year. He's won 3 this year, but he does fit the non-4 condition, so he's in here with Amadeo Perez throughout his last, and he's very much a factor in here. And in the third spot, I went to Crossrail Court. Hard trying old horse, just got beat. Run second to Mary Zapp, couple back, and he's another one. Ran against Talket's Charm and Step Up, and
tougher horse.
Little bit easier assignment for him, and he gets Hamill. Never a bad thing. I went 9, 5, and 10 in the nightcap.
Those are good points you make about the 9 CC's Diamond. I don't have the horse top 3, but seeing that this horse is definitely an easier assignment.
Mark,
could be a player. I went to the 3 Pasquero. I didn't like this race at all. This is a race, as you mentioned, you had a lot of marks in your form. This is a race that could go a lot. I went to Pasquero, another one dropping or dropped last time, but no pace at all. 25, 50, 115. This horse had no shot coming from last. So I had to try Pasquero. I think it's going to be a far more favorable pace scenario with Captain Salt stretching out. Joint choice, speed, Proxy Man, speed, and CC's. I just think there's going to be some pace in here. And Pasquero, who's been running against, they started the horse off pretty high this year, so obviously Rob Van Overshot is a good horseman. thought enough of the horse to run it where he was, and things didn't pan out, but perhaps this easier assignment is what he needs. I put the 10-horse Crossrail Court in for second, another one that was victim of a slow pace and also tougher company. Talk's Charm, Step Up, and Minstrel's Time are 3 horses that would be even money or less in this race
for sure.
to this day. So Crossrail Court, easier assignment. Richard Hamill certainly won't hurt. He was aboard for the last time this horse won, actually. And Richard very good at getting horses in position, so the 10-hole might not be a big deal. And up at the 5-horse, Captain Salt for the Gilkers and Emmerdale Perez. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one not mind the stretch out. But still, it's not wise usually to leave them off the ticket. I went 3, 10, and 5 in the Sunday finale. That'll do it for our analysis of the Sunday, September the 7th program. Next up on screen, here's a quick recap of our picks. Back in race number 1, I went at the 5-horse, and all that it means. I went 5, 2, 4. Race number 2, I went at the 1, Modern. Looking for a Dino Condolinos Exactor, Swift Thoroughbreds Exactor here. I went 1, 4, and 3. Third race, I went to the 4, Deputy's Command, hoping for a hot pace. I went 4, 6, and 3. Race number 4, I went to the 7, CA Miss. Over the 6, Victoria's Spirit, and the 1, Danny's Champ. Race 5, I went at the 4, Peyton's Best on the class drop. Over the 2, After the Conflict, and the 7, Ambidextrous Duke. All 3 of them are taking class drops. 6th race, I went to the 6, Diaz Saban. Over the 4, Balancing Dancer, and the 2, Jag-Time Tune. Race 7, I went to the 7, Bluegrass Angus. Over the first-time starter, number 3, The Odds Are Good, and the 5, Kiss 'Em Goodbye. And the 8th and final, I take a shot on the 3, Pátzcuaro. I went 3, 10, and 5.
On to my picks, there we go. In the first race, I went to the 5. I agree with Mike on number 5 and all that it means over the 2 and the 4. In the second, I went to the Constellation Mile winner, number 6, El Capone, over the 1 and the 4. In the third, I went to the very consistent number 5, Bear Rock and Roll, over the 4 and the 3. In the fourth, number 7, our good friend Wayne Oliver's CA Miss, over the 6 and the 1. In the fifth, I agree with Mike on number 4, Peyton's Best, over the 2 and the 5. In the sixth, I went to the 4, Balancing Dancer, over the 6 and the 7. In the seventh, number 7, Bluegrass Angus, over the 10, Merlot, and the 3, The Odds Are Good. And in the nightcap, the 8th, I went to number 9, CC's Diamond, over the 5 and the 10.
All right, thanks everyone for tuning in to Handicapper's Corner, and don't forget, we got this lovely little sheet. If you missed the show today, or if you have a buddy, tell them couldn't see the show, doesn't have a computer or anything.
Get down to the beer stands.
Get down to the beer stands and get
another reason to go to the beer stands.
And got the 2-for-1 Derby coupon on there, as well as the overnight on the back, our selections, and all the specials on what our chef Andy has going on. Obviously, a lot of great food here. If you can't make it out to the track, please do come out here to the Derby Bar and Grill. All the screens will be on Thoroughbred Racing, in particular Hastings will be on the big screen. Lots of simulcasting obviously going on as well. So if you as I said, if you can't make it out to Hastings, get out here to South Surrey near the border, 176 and 0 Avenue, and get out to the Derby Bar and Grill for great food and great entertainment. On behalf of Drew, thanks for tuning in to Handicapper's Corner. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
Friend of mine. And just a minute, boys, I got the feedbox noise.